everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about habit trackers. I usually don't use habit trackers in my bullet journal, but nowadays I really feel like maybe I should start doing them just because I really want to have structure and a schedule in my day again. So this is my 10 designs for interesting and different habit trackers for your bullet journal or for any planner that you might have. So this first one is a regular habit tracker, but it's over 2 pages. You have it in a horizontal layout, and then instead of just filling in each block, I have used my fine liner to make a hash pattern throughout the tracker. This is perfect for you if you have like a lot of habits that you want to track. So you have about 16, 20, like however many you have. You can have them all listed here. All it is, you have to just go down, this is your days of the month, and then you just go down the row each day and fill it out by color. And the color creates this kind of like rainbow effect, and I think it's super cool. You also have the gaps, and so when you fill it in all the way, it looks really cool and like the pattern looks awesome. But also when you have the gaps, that also looks really cool, I feel like. And I just decorated my highlighters, my Stabilo pastel highlighters, and I created these really easy abstract roses. I love floral designs. That is like my favorite thing. Like I love anything floral, but I can't really draw florals very well. So this is a perfect kind of design that I like. It's super simple. It still reads as rose or floral, but it doesn't require that much detail. And I actually added this little quote that says, "Thoughts become words, become actions, become habits, become life." I think I heard that somewhere, or I might have just made it up all by myself. I'm sure I heard this sort of part of it, and I just made up the whole habits become life thing. This is perfect for you if you have like a lot of habits and you want to make a pretty airy spread in your bullet journal. The next one is also a rainbow pastel sort of theme. These pastel little balloons, I actually did this kind of a theme for February in my bullet journal. If you watched my other videos, there are your days of the month, and then you have your habits here. All I did was I had a round compass thing and I just copied that, and it has the degrees on it. And obviously there are 360 degrees. And all you do is you mark off 310 of them, and you mark where that line is. And all you have to do is then go back and make dots. What you would do is you would have your center point, have your mark where your degree is, and then you would mark along this way. And that's how you would create your spaces for your blocks. And then what I did was I went in a pattern of like a rainbow pattern. I just used my highlighters for this, and this created that lovely rainbow effect. So this is perfect when you have only a few. This is only 6 habits, and I think you can probably make more or less. Depends on how big you want your circle to be, but I think this is a good amount for this. Also, if you want to have a nice compact habit tracker, this is also good. So this is kind of like the previous one we just saw, but it's over 2 pages, and I really love this spread. It's so cute. I always love drawing these like little cartoon clouds everywhere. So for this one, we have our habits over here and in a key. So we have the colors highlighted and then your actual habit written inside. So they're not like, you could, I suppose, put them here, but I thought it would be nicer to just have it laid out this way. And this is the same sort of idea. You have your habit like one through, this is for February, so 28. And I would just mark off. For this one, I didn't add dots or any other kind of guide. Say now we're on day 11. So I would just place my ruler where I wanted it, grab my highlighter, and filled in. So that way it's a sort of clear rainbow. And then for the lines in between, made them kind of not continuous. I added little gaps in between. That way it's a little bit more airy. And I really like this spread. I think it's super cute. If you have a double spread that you want to use up, but also not that many habits. Like if you have 6 or 7 habits, like this is a great way to do it. The next spread is this one. So this is kind of like those individual calendars that you see. So instead of putting the habits around one singular place, we have our 4 habits, and then we have a color for each of them, and the habit is written inside the circle. And the circle has these markers around the outside, and to mark whether you've done your habit or not, you just make a little dot with your fine liner. And to make it more minimal, I actually just added the 1. So this is like your first day. So in order to create this, I actually made this little template. So I made this template for 31, 30, 28, and 29 days. And this was super duper helpful. So I just placed this behind here and I traced over it to create these circles. So this is really, really helpful. And if you would like to create a spread like this or some of the other ones that I'm going to show you, I'm going to have this available as a free download in the description box so you can make these kinds of spreads yourself. But yeah, you can measure it and all that stuff, but it's just so much easier when you have a little template like this. And for decoration, I just drew some more not very good flowers. What are these kinds of flowers anyway? They're just imaginary flowers. And so if you have only 4 habits and you're like, how do I fill the spread? This is an option for you. So this is a variation on the previous one. You're using these same templates again. This is again that same hash pattern. So you hash 3 times in one direction. The next day you hash in 3 times in the other direction, and it creates this really cool sort of pattern. And this particular spread, my theme was self-care habits. So sleep, read, meditate, etc. And I created this with fine liners and highlighters. I actually put the days here. So I put 1, 10, 20, and 30. That way they kind of blend in to this so you don't see those harsh black numbers all the way around. Here we move into the more like away from the pastels. If you love to doodle, this is the tracker for you. So what I did was I actually added some washi tape on the top and bottom here. I created a little mini calendar for each of the habits. So I used a grid of 4 squares for each day. I filled in the days with a gray. And so the idea is every time you fulfill your habit, you draw either a star or the moon in its phase. I decided to make this a moon phase calendar too. So here is one that's not filled in. So this is like a little gray moon. And when you get to that day, you fill it in with black. And if you make a mistake, you can always go in with whiteout to correct it. And the end result is so ethereal and sort of very October vibes. And every day you get to doodle a little star or a moon. So now we're getting into the more like unusual habit trackers. For every day, I just literally drew a crystal. And for every habit, we have a color. So say now this is day 7. On this day, we did all of the habits. So each habit has a color. So you can put the color wherever you want onto this little crystal. All of the colors and all of the spaces are in different places on each crystal. This is one for 6 habits. So you just have to make sure that you draw a crystal that has 6 spaces in it. And then the overall finished layout looks like this. And I think it looks super cute. And the white spaces, again, kind of work with the layout so that you don't feel like it's not finished. This is just maybe how you wanted it to look, you know? So if you have an issue with completing all your habits every single day, and you hate when you look at your habit tracker that it's got all these empty spaces in it, this is a good habit tracker for you because it still looks like it's a design, it's a choice, it's how you wanted it to look. For this one, florals, I love florals. So this is a cherry blossom spread. So we have our little cherry blossoms here, it's all pink and black, and this is the key. You would draw in black your cherry blossoms. So you would make a grid for your cherry blossoms, and you would make it for April. This is for April, so there's 30 days. So you would draw 30 little cherry blossoms, or any flower with 5 petals, doesn't have to be cherry blossoms. So here we have our key. So here, the habit is not a correlation to your color that you're using, but it's the position of the petal. So this petal is sleep for 8 hours. And this petal is read for 15 minutes. So each day you would just color in, you would just take your one color that you're using to fill it out. If you like that structure of a habit tracker and you want to see at a glance, oh, how many days out of here, which habit was I the worst at keeping up with? You would immediately be able to look here and see that, hey, walking every day was a bit of a struggle because there are a bunch of petals that are not colored in. This is actually a really terrible drawing of a cherry blossom. I feel like flowers, when they're drawn a bit more abstractly, look cute as well. So here is my favorite combination of yellow and black. I absolutely love, 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 love this spread. And over here we have pretty much the same idea that we had with the cherry blossoms, but we have it with stars. So I drew these stars and I numbered them 1 through 30. And again, this is the key that we have here. So we have our 6 habits and we have them again correlating to the position. So how I made this key is I numbered 1 star, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then each number here, so it's like this is the key for this key, this is the key for this. It seems a bit complicated, but it's really not. This is probably a mistake, but I also added 1 or 2 little decorative stars. I would suggest you wouldn't do that because then it just gets confusing about which star is the one that is tracking and which one is the one that is just a decoration. So yeah, but this one is a lot more like sporadic and random. Like the previous one, it was more like a grid and then you had your flowers all in one grid, but this is much more freeform. I really love this spread. Over here, I just used my marker to make a black background and then the white gel pen over it to write over. So again, another great layout for a doodler. I don't know if maybe you would draw the cactus every single day, or if you would draw all the cactuses or cacti and then every day just go back and color them in. Similar to the previous one, but it's more, again, rigid, but it's more of an illustration because you have your little shelves and you have your little cactuses on there or cacti. For this one, you do have to draw the exact same cactus every single time. It can be bigger, smaller, whatever. Also, what I did was I changed up the color. So the color means nothing here. So some days I just did all light green. Other days I did all dark green. And sometimes I mixed it up so that overall at the end of the month, when you look at it and it's finished, it can have a bit of variety. If you have like a lot of markers, you could actually create one where each slice is a different shade of green and you can color code it that way if you wanted to. So if you have a theme that's like more leafy or green or succulent type, or also you don't have to use cactus. You can just use any kind of succulent plant that you want, or even just a plant with certain leaves. It's very, very flexible. So that is it for all of my habit trackers. I hope you enjoyed it. This gave you some ideas for how you can use habit trackers in your bullet journal. I know not everybody likes to do habit trackers. I'm one of those people. I'm not much of a tracker of pretty much anything. I don't track things, but this is fun. Like if you're just at home or you're working from home or you do something extra in your bullet journal, why not make a really pretty, really fun habit tracker? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions for me, if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!